What is happening? So, this is going to be a fundamental series, and I'm going to run for Instagram and all the other socials, where I'm just going to run through the 4 fundamental compound movements for strength training. And of course, we'll begin with none other than the king or the queen, whatever way you want to put it, of strength training when it comes to really hitting not just your lower body but even your entire body, and that is the barbell back squat. Now, disclaimer that I'm going to say, not everybody can do a barbell back squat due to a variety of reasons, whether it's due to injuries, poor mobility, or just simply lacking the strength to start off with a barbell. And here's the thing, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I've worked with people who have had serious problems, even serious structural problems with their hips, their knees, back. Anybody though, I believe, unless they have a truly severe structural problem that would limit them, I believe most people can learn how to do a barbell back squat. Now, does that necessarily mean that that is the best thing for everyone? No. But if you can do it and you can do it safely, it is undoubtedly probably one of the best movements you can do for your overall strength, building muscle of course, and even your health and your longevity. Being able to squat is a fundamental movement pattern. The same with the lunge, the same with the hip hinge, the press, the horizontal row, the vertical row. Now, to get into it, what I will do is I will demonstrate how I demo a barbell back squat to everyone I work with. There'll be a few wee key cues I want people to pick up with and learn from. The 2 key cues I always say to everybody whenever I'm teaching the barbell back squat for the first time is learning how to effectively brace. In other words, how to brace your core. Now, what I mean by brace your core is you tense your core, you brace your core as if you're about to be punched in the stomach. Because if you keep in here tight, you essentially strengthen your entire spine as well, because the core or the abs or the antagonistic muscle group, the opposite muscle group, to spine. So we want here, the core, to be as strong as possible. And in order to do that, you have to activate your core, you engage your core. And like I said, you do that by bracing as if you're about to be punched in the stomach. It's not a case of simply tensing your abs as if you're trying to show off. It's really focusing on bracing your core as if you're about to be punched. The second key thing is breathing. Breathing is so important. I can't emphasize that enough. When it comes to strength training, particularly as you get stronger and you're starting to lift heavier loads, you really need to effectively breathe as well as brace. Again, when you breathe correctly, whenever you do strength training, you strengthen your entire body. You strengthen particularly the intra-abdominal area because you fill that up with air by taking a big, forceful, deep breath. You hold it, and then you exhale. And I will demonstrate how you inhale, how you exhale, and on what portions of the lift that you're going to do that. So, 2 key takeaways for anybody watching this video is learning how to brace correctly whenever you're doing strength training. By the way, this also applies to all the other core movements, the barbell deadlift, the barbell overhead press, and the barbell bench press, which I will also cover in later videos. So again, breathing and bracing correctly, and I will show you how to do that. Now, without further ado, I will demonstrate the barbell back squat. Now, another wee thing I will say here is I will also demonstrate the pause rep and why it can be a very effective tool for people whenever it comes to strengthening your back squat. Again, it's a bit more of an advanced technique. I would probably leave it whenever you become quite competent at the barbell back squat. This video is really intended for beginners or anybody who hasn't done a barbell back squat before. But again, I will also show the pause rep because it is a very effective means of improving your strength at the bottom portion of the lift. And it's a great tool also for teaching people how to squat their maybe full depth. Again, whenever you're doing pause reps for the first time, really lower the intensity in the bar, really drop the intensity, i.e. the load, right down to maybe 50%, 60% of your own rep max. So I'll get into it. So, first thing you want to be doing is getting your grip. Hand position is just outside the rings, like so. And again, Personally, I like the back squat in my socks. Again, the key thing I tell people as well, running shoes are not great for back squatting in, as they essentially destabilize you. Your best squatting in socks, or really flat surface shoes like Converse, Chuck Taylors, they're your best bets. Or of course you can get weightlifting shoes. I would really recommend not to be squatting in runner shoes like trainers. They might look good, but honestly when it comes to back squats, deadlifts, they're shit. They look good, but they're really shit, and they probably will, in the long run, probably destabilize you due to the artificial heel, and maybe cause problems with your knees and stuff like that, so I really wouldn't recommend it. Now, like I said, go up to the bar, palm position just outside the rings. What you're going to do from here is you're going to step in under the bar and find the groove where your traps are. Again, this takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice to get right, but you want to find that groove right resting nice and neat on your straps. So we're going to be doing a high bar squat. So once you've got your position, you set your feet under the bar, you lift off. I'll show you from the back and the front. So you take a few paces back, elbows tucked in. You get your stance right. I'll go over the stance after the video. What I typically do is shoulder width stance, toes tucked out slightly. From here, I'm going to take a bit, I'm going to crush my glutes, squeeze the glutes together, tense the quads, elbows tucked in, brace the core, big deep breath. Big exhale as you come up. And again, last one, big deep breath. And drag. And back the bar up. Now, a few key points. Again, it's so important at the top of the lift that you brace and you breathe. So what I'll do is I'll demonstrate that mechanically, just with my body weight. So from the front, and again the stance is different. There's no right or wrong way to stance to get your squat stance. Everybody's different. I always say, for most people, it's just whatever you feel most comfortable in, whatever you feel strongest in. And again, it can vary. I've seen people with really wide stances, and I've seen people who are quite narrow stances. There's no right or wrong way. It's whatever you feel most comfortable in, you feel strongest in, and the stance is most safe for you. So, again, myself, I typically go, like I said, this is going to show you from the front, shoulder width stance, toes tucked out. Now, before you even get going, you want your elbows tucked in. You want to brace that core, really brace it. Even when you're walking up to the bar, as you approach the bar, you want to be doing this. You want to be bracing the core. Even before you get in under that bar, brace this core. So important, because it will teach you that when you squat, and treat even the lightest weight as a heavy weight. Even for your warm-ups, do them for your warm-ups, especially if you're not used to doing this. You would be surprised at the amount of people, the amount of coaches that don't even know this, that don't even know how to breathe correctly and brace correctly whenever you do strength training. So if you've never done it before, practice it. Even practice it doing body weight squats. Practice it with the bar, practice it with the warm-up sets. But treat every single weight, even treat your body weight as a heavy weight, because that means when you go and actually lift heavy weight, you will have practiced and cued all the proper and correct technique that will eventually, because at the end of the day, we want to train not just for a good time, but for a long time. We want longevity when it comes to strength training. So it's so imperative that you learn to brace your core, breathe correctly, because that will strengthen your spine. And that means you won't get back problems, and that means you won't have to leave your coach. Now, your coach should know this, but Forget about coaching, even if you're just someone who trains on your own and doesn't go to a coach. This will save you, especially when you start to lift heavy, because when you start to lift heavy, that's when a lot of stress is placed on the spine. Now obviously you can ameliorate that by getting a belt, but what I like to do with everyone, especially if they're beginners, is learn, because even with the belt, you still got to brace, you still got to breathe. The belt obviously creates the belt essentially does the job for you to a degree. You still have to brace, you still have to breathe, but the belt does help, because when you lift really heavy weights, guess what? And see, this is something as well for all those fucking form Nazis out there. When you're lifting a heavy fucking squat, or you're doing a heavy deadlift, it is quite impossible. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's very, very difficult to maintain pristine form throughout the whole movement. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, at times it might not even be practical, because if you want to maintain absolutely perfect form, you probably have to drop the weight. But if you're somebody who's aware of the risks, if you're somebody who competes in a sport like powerlifting, you know what you're signing up for. You know that whenever you go to a competition meet, you're probably going to fucking lift a new weight, like a PR, a weight you've never lifted before. And is your form going to be absolutely perfect? No. But as long as you know the foundational pillars when it comes to your form for the squat, deadlift, bench, overhead press, that's all that matters. And if your form's correct 95% of the time, that's fine. And guess what? Even myself, when I've went for PRs, I still in my head run through picture perfect form. And I still strive to maintain picture perfect form. Is it 100% perfect? No. But find me somebody that does do a PR or a load that is 95% close to your 1 rep max with perfect form. Guess what? You probably won't find them. But again, this video isn't about ranting about form Nazis. This video is to really show beginners in particular all the key things for doing a back squat safely. So, like I said, just to go over this one final time, bracing the core. You've got your core braced, you've got your stance right, bar on your back, elbows tucked in, core braced, glutes crushed, squeezed, tensing the quad as well. You're going to take a big deep breath at the top. Big exhale as you come up, and really think about that drive at the top. At the very top, your glutes, your fucking ass cheeks are fucking squeezed. That is how you squat. So again, I hope this video has been informative, and I hope a lot of people take value from it. It's been the way I've been instructed to do the barbell back squat. At probably one of the best institutes you can do your personal training certification, Elite Fitness Performance Academy Belfast, and I'll link them. I'll tag them in this post, because what those guys do, Michael, John, Lanny, and all the rest of the guys up there, next level. But again, thanks for watching. Hope it's been informative. Boom.